Welcome to a new update, and today was one of those days that you simply do not know how you're going to wake up. Is Bitcoin going to drop 5k more? Is Bitcoin going to push back up? All we do know for certain is that we are not in a bull cycle right now, in terms of we are getting a correction and we are actually having one already. Are we getting close to the end of that correction, or are we getting close to a short-term bounce, or are we going to continue dropping down at this point? All topics that we will be discussing in this short update of the markets right now, and I truly believe that we're actually going to get a short-term bounce. But before we're going to continue, we are going to launch a newsletter next week, and the first 3 issues, which is an entire week, will be completely free. So if you're interested in my latest insights, TA, but also FA on the markets, definitely check out the link in the description beneath, which is the link to subscribe to the newsletter. The first 3 issues will be free. Before we're going to continue, also do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, like the YouTube update, and check out my Twitter and Instagram. Today is going to be a fun day as I'm going to record a podcast with a special one. And I'm also going to, which is going to be Dutch actually, and I'm also going to go to the Masters Expo to see some of my friends who have a stand over there, a new pretty cool NFT Lambo, and also Iconic, one of our partners, is having a stand there. So it's going to be a fun day. But now, the markets. Actually, we have been seeing a slight bounce from 58k, but we ultimately, and we're going to look at the lower time frames, but ultimately we resulted into a deeper correction from that level, as the markets were not showing too much strength at all, in which case we're currently at a crucial level of support. And the question becomes, okay, so how far are we going to end corrections? I've also seen some questions of people saying at those regions, as you can see on the screen, hey, should I be selling my positions right now to assume that we are going down even more? That is actually the worst thing to do. That's the wrong mindset to have. If you see a correction taking place, the market drops 20%, and you want to start selling at that point, assuming we're going to go down even more, that's usually the wrong mindset, because you would have been out of the markets earlier if you have clear targets or have clear strategies already. And with our platform and in my portfolio, I've been taking care of my entire portfolio by swapping towards Bitcoin earlier and also swapping towards USDT when we get towards 68, sorry. So if we correct and we drop 20%, and that's the point where you start thinking about the fact, hey, should I be selling now for a further correction to take place? The actual question would be, hey, are we approaching a support so I can actually buy back into the markets? Reverse it. If a coin runs back up or starts to run up heavily, most of the people are going to question, hey, I'm going to buy here because it will make another 30% run, while the actual mindset should be, okay, I'm into a position already, I'm going to take profits here, and if I want to get into this coin, I will wait for the correction to take place so then I can get into that position. So that's a little bit a monologue about mindset. But when we're looking at the markets at this point, we can clearly conclude that we have taken out the entire trend here. So where are we right now? If we look at history and at the strategy or at the patterns that we usually have been seeing, is downwards drop, which takes out this previous low, bounce back up, and then another wave. And if we do the exact same for the price action that we have been seeing here, drops out, took out the lows, bounced back up, and another wave. So I think we are getting a short-term bounce. That is also a conclusion based on the DXY probably topping out anywhere soon. So looking at this price action, where are we going to go to? No, I'll just get a clean chart so it makes it easier to look at for perspectives here. We do have some crucial resistance zones that we have to break through, right? So we have to break through 61.4, for instance, and then we also have this clear resistance zone at 63. So this is the entire region that I think we clearly have to break through. Might be a little bit lower here. These two are important ones. You can also use Fibonacci to derive any points of interest here. 618, 5, and 382 will be a little bit higher at 64. So anywhere in this region is definitely the critical point for the bounce to play to reject at previous resistances before we're going to have another wave south. If we're using Fibonacci extension, we could be saying, hey, the next correction will be taking us to 47k. That's the worst case scenario in which we're going to end the correction relatively soon here, based on the fact that we're into a support area, right? So that could be the case. So then we are going to have a bounce back up, correction, and then two questions will be happening. Well, actually, the first important point is we're going to find support here, bounce back up. We first have to find support, and we're looking at the lower time frames in a little bit. If we do have this bounce, the chances are that we're going to have a retest. The question then will become whether we're going to have another drop south, and if that takes place, I'm going to look at this region. But we could also fade that drop down. So if we bounce back towards support, like we're seeing here, we drop heavily, we bounce, and then we check out take the lows once again, and we immediately reverse. That could be a chance too. So then we're just chopping in this range before we're going to reverse, most likely in January 2022. So those are two questions. All I know is that in this region, I'm definitely going to be interested in getting back a little bit into the markets, as the markets have been dropping down approximately 20% already. That's a good chance to get into the markets at this point. So that's how I'm looking at the markets right now. If we're looking at lower time frames, and then I again have to get a clean chart, otherwise it's getting too messy. We have been rejecting resistance here, right? So we have been rejecting that level at 61k, and then we started to drop south even more. Right now we are in that higher time frame support area. Well, I don't know what that is, but that I just use so many charts that it makes it a little bit messy at some point. We are in this higher time frame support. So this entire region that we have here, all the way towards 54k, will probably be a bottom or short-term reversal point. What I'm looking at is that we probably are going to find ourselves resistance at any point in time, at anywhere of those regions. So 59 to 61 is the first crucial point of resistance. The next one is around 63. Right now we potentially have a bullish divergence, which I would definitely not call one yet, but we could be getting that one there. We could be having any bounce back up towards 59 and still be bearish on the short term. So then we're just going to take the retest here, get a clear bullish divergence, and then we might be having a run all the way to 63. So as a conclusion of this small update, I think we're getting into opportunities. And finally, the green light can be turning on when that is taking place. I think you should be using those dips to actually actually get into the markets if you still want, because the biggest run is still about to take place, as long as we stay above a few crucial levels, which I've mentioned previously. I hope you have enjoyed this update. Don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter and YouTube, and I'll see you again later today for the second update.